Welcome back to our vlog, Living in Sioux Falls. This is where we talk all things Sioux Falls and the surrounding areas. And today we're in Sioux Falls' biggest suburb known as Brandon, South Dakota. So Brandon is nestled against the Big Sioux River and Split Rock Creek, and it is a thriving and growing community. To move to Brandon, South Dakota, or just doing some research, you're gonna wanna stay tuned to the video today. Today we are talking the pros and the cons, just those things you need to consider if you're looking at moving here or considering it as a place to move. We're gonna look at both sides of the coin, the good and the bad, so stay tuned. So let's start with the pros of Brandon, South Dakota, and there's one word for that to start off with, and that's community. This place has the best community when you're talking that small town feel where everybody kind of knows each other, friendly with each other, the neighbors hang out and you know everybody that lives around you. Brandon embodies that to the fullest extent, and that's really a huge key to their growth. And it's no surprise that Brandon was voted the #1 safest city in South Dakota for 2 consecutive years. And it just embodies what this community truly is all about. It has a growth rate since the last census of just over 1%. So it's growing, but not at a pace that's so fast and everything it can't keep up with that growth. Brandon is growing at a healthy pace, which is why so many businesses and developments are attracted to this community. Pro number 2 for Brandon is its growth and economic stability. So Brandon has a great Chamber of Commerce and Development Center that really helps invite and foster new businesses to come into the community and grow and prosper. And we've seen huge expansion with over $80 million invested into the infrastructure of the Brandon community. And that goes from school expansions to the new industrial park and residential and beyond. You can see the development happening here, and that commitment to businesses and fostering that is evident because of what the Chamber of Commerce and what this city has to offer. And so you see that growth happening. And as you can expect, the residential developments have expanded over the last couple of years as well. As the city continues to grow, more housing options are needed. So you've seen big growth in apartment buildings, townhomes, twin homes, as well as single-family residential developments. This single-family development that we're in, Twin Rivers, has been exploding the last couple of years. Kind of a higher-end option for the residents of Brandon, but just shows that the growth is happening, more options are needed. And so for the residents, there's great places for living, but then also for businesses. This community really fosters and cares for those businesses to start and grow and prosper here, making Brandon a great place for growth and economic stability. Pro number 3 is Brandon Valley School District, which is by far one of the best school districts in the entire state of South Dakota, and constantly receives awards for that school district. And so it's been voted the best school district in South Dakota by niche.com, and that commitment to their excellence shows through education here. And one of the things that's really neat about Brandon is it's the 4th largest school district in the state. However, it still maintains that small town feel, that small town learning atmosphere, which makes it so great. So while it's growing and it's expanding, they're still creating and fostering that high standard of education. And so in Brandon here, you have a wide range of sports to speech, music, drama. So in the state, in the region, Brandon is well known for its options for athletics and the fine arts as well, and they do those at a very high level. So it's no doubt that the school district here is a huge pro for being and living in Brandon, South Dakota. When it comes to education, Brandon Valley consistently outperforms the state averages in math and English language arts. And with an impressive average GPA of 3.18, they're high above the state averages there. And their ACT scores consistently outperform the national averages of the top AA schools. So Brandon is excelling in the state, regionally, but even on a national level, it stands out with their excellence to education. Pro number 4 for Brandon, South Dakota is the proximity to Sioux Falls. So it's really close. It's about 13 miles from downtown Sioux Falls, or about 17 minutes. Another nice perk is I-90 connects right to Brandon, so you can be really to Sioux Falls in just a matter of minutes. So you're close to Sioux Falls if you do have to go into town for something. But a nice thing is you don't have to go to town for everything. Brandon has a lot of great businesses here, like I've mentioned already. There's nearly 300 small and local businesses in Brandon, South Dakota. You have Houston Speedway, the Brandon Golf Course, Big Sioux Recreation Area, and Oak Ridge Nursery and Landscaping, just to name a few of the local businesses. So the proximity to Sioux Falls is great if you need to go there for something, but good news is you don't have to go to Sioux Falls for everything. Brandon has a great business environment in and of itself. All right, so now onto the cons, onto the downsides of Brandon, but every city has that, right? The good and the bad, so we got to explore the cons, and the number one con is the local amenities and services. And so while Brandon is growing and while the variety is picking up and changing, and they're adding to it at a great pace, it still lacks some good variety. So it has all the basics covered. It has those necessities that you need. But if you're somebody that craves variety and you want those options, you will have to go into Sioux Falls. So it's just something to think about, that while they're adding and it's growing, you don't have everything you could want or desire right here in Brandon. You'll have to go to Sioux Falls for that. Con number 2 of living in Brandon is just the commute to Sioux Falls. So like I mentioned, you will be traveling into Sioux Falls for a lot of things, whether it's work, play, or anything in between. So you have to consider that trek if you're thinking about moving to Brandon. One of the nice things is that Brandon is located and connects right to Interstate 90, which is going to bring you right into Sioux Falls. So that's a good advantage to it. And Sioux Falls is also adding the Veterans Parkway, and that's going to wrap around the entire city, and it connects to I-90. That's going to give you an option to get to the other side of Sioux Falls a lot quicker as well. So that's coming, that's expanding, that's going to be a benefit to the residents of Brandon. But as of right now, you do need to consider that commute, how often you'll be going to Sioux Falls when you're considering moving to Brandon, South Dakota. So con number 3 to living in Brandon, and I have to mention this anytime I'm talking about a city in South Dakota, but that is the weather. So the weather in South Dakota and in Brandon can be brutal at times. Winters can be horrible. Some are not as bad as others, but when you get hit with the winter storm, the temperatures can get sub-zero, low visibility, high winds, snow like crazy. It can be brutal. And you do have to factor that in more when you live in a suburb, because like I mentioned earlier, that commuting in and out of Sioux Falls, you're gonna have a little extra travel time with maybe worse travel conditions if the weather is really bad. So weather is the last and final con of Brandon, South Dakota. All right, so there you have it. Those are the pros and cons of Brandon, South Dakota. Hopefully that's helpful if you're considering moving here. You really got to look at both sides of the coin, the good and the bad. And hopefully we shed some light on that for you today. If you have any specific questions or you want more information, make sure you comment below and we'll get that information to you right away. But make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and also comment below, like I said. And just hopefully this was helpful, and stay tuned for more videos like this. We're doing all things living in Sioux Falls and surrounding areas to give you more information to help you make educated decision about your move to the area.